Hi everyone, my name is Alex. I'm leading this community called Marketing Mondays. We meet every second, sometimes every first Monday of the month, and we talk about marketing, as you can judge from the name. So we touch different topics. Sometimes we talk about something very general, like AI or AI in marketing. Sometimes we talk about something very specific, like how do you optimize ads? How do you make sure that that AI is not overdoing things, or I don't know, even not making our employees lazy, something like this, right? Even the HR aspect of it. And sometimes we talk about creative communication, even PR. And again, we talk about generally, or we talk about the application of AI in this and latest technology. And what we recently really like to do is we are inviting marketers who are out there in the market actually using all these tools, and pretty much it's everyday part of their journey. It's everyday thing that they're doing. They literally cannot live without it. Just now, just before the meeting, I was talking with someone. Somebody told me, I cannot live without that tool and that tool, so I'll carry that tool in every my next agency or next brand I'm working in. Yeah, so that means that you're actually more efficient, right? So we like to touch these topics. So today it's a very exciting event. Today we're gonna talk with about three sides of marketing, right? So we call it AI's role in creative media and brand marketing, and we have three speakers that represents a different sides of the coin, different parts of it, right? So we have somebody from the brand side. There's a Xueting Lin from Rocket's business, and previously she was working in Mother Care and many other brands. So let's put your hands together, please come. And we have Shei Wah Tan. He is a managing director of the agency. You can just sit in this chair. And then we have Shei Wah Tan from agency called Neo 360. It's one of their performance and media agencies in Singapore, so they are very much into KPIs, results, and of course they also have to be very creative and very data-driven. Right? So this is the core with the heart of it. So yeah, Shei Wah, please come. And last but not least, we get Wanjun Cheong, who is Associate Media Director in InstaMedia Labs and the Black Labs. That's a media and creative agency. So, welcome. So, as you see, I honestly want to have it a little bit like a battle, right? But a healthy one, because we know that we have these different communities, and I thought maybe we can just put different views together, and from there we can see, not who wins, but rather what are the different perspectives on it. And so many of us are so curious about it as well. That's why you're all coming. So let us kick off. And maybe what we're gonna do first, we'll start from a short introduction from everyone, so we can just pass the microphone.
Hi, my name is Wanjun and I'm from InstaMedia Labs. I actually lead a team of media buyers and media planners, and my day-to-day work would be looking at pitches, tenders, as well as managing the clients around with us. I work very closely with my parent agency, which is called Black Labs. They are a creative agency, been around for more than a decade. So a lot of the pitches that we do require us to analyze the creatives that the clients have done before. So I think on this part, we use a lot of AI to actually do this analyzing and also collecting of the data. So yeah, that's pretty much who I am and what we do.
Testing. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, my name is Shei Wah. I run a digital marketing agency, a performance marketing agency. I've been doing this for the last 10 years, coming 11. There are three main verticals that we work with in the agency. The first vertical is in healthcare. It's very regulated, so there's a lot more curbing in terms of the creativity that you can actually execute on the campaign side. The second vertical is actually with the Institute of Higher Learning or the higher education space, so the universities here in Singapore and also some foreign university as well. And then the third vertical is basically a mix of lifestyle brands and B2B brands. So yeah, we're here not because we are any better, but because we just want to share our experience. I'm sure some of you guys are also in very capable position as well, and you guys, we're here to learn, and we hope to be able to learn from you, as we hope that you can also learn from us as well. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Xueting. I have been a media planner for like about 12 years, and I steered my career towards brands. So like brands I have managed are like Jaguar Land Rover, Sime Darby, Estee Lauder, Mothercare, and recently Rocket Business from MyRepublic. So I am actually a very, at later stage of my media planning, I actually become a very hands-on digital marketer, because I believe that when you use the platform to launch your campaigns and manage your campaign, you actually know what is the performance, and you are liable and you are able to tweak so that you can maximize and optimize the ad revenue coming from it. I am a big WhatsApp advocate, and then I also enjoy working with Alex before on the marketing intelligence using his platform SoMe.ai.
Yeah, the platform says I got a couple of questions about that as well. But I think, generally speaking, and it's my personal question. So AI is revolutionizing everything. It changed so many things, right? It changed the way we write copies, create content, target ads. Actually, AI in Facebook for so long. In fact, they've driven all the development of AI in the industries. They were one of the first to actually deploy machine learning in there. So, from one perspective, it's so revolutionary, good. But from another perspective, does it make marketers lazier? Is it something that actually makes us think less? Do you guys have any perspective on this?
Okay, so I think coming from the creative perspective, right, the AI is still learning. There is a lot of things that we need to feed the AI when it comes to drafting up a storyboard per se. You can't just give the AI a prompt and say, I want a couple walking down a street, like next to a street, and then AI will do its work, and you think it's gonna create wonders and give you a very nice image of a couple walking next to a stream. But in actual fact, right, what we actually do in a creative agency is that we still need to come up with the first draft of the image first, feed it to the AI. We can be cropping image from everywhere and then feed it to the AI, and then the AI will then generate a very nice image for us, and then from there we do the sketches and things like that with the AI from there on. So I think when you say making us humans lazier, I don't think so, because there's still a lot of inputs that come from us, and AI requires us to feed them with a lot of information, and the algorithm will learn and then adapt from there. I think we're still in the very early phase of AI, so we still need to work a lot to make the AI work. Yeah.
Okay, so my experience, I actually worked with aromatherapy company before, and then for example, when I want to set up a campaign, right, I test between using the Advantage Plus of Meta to target the audience versus my own crafted target audience using the same platform, and to test whether which campaign actually works better. So actually, from my experience, in the aromatherapy company, the Advantage Plus actually works better. It delivered the result. But then, sorry, not Advantage Plus, the target audience. But then when I'm in Mothercare, and then I actually tried using the Advantage Plus and using my own mother's target audience and so on, it actually became the Advantage Plus that actually drive a lot of ad revenue. So I think the brand itself has a certain value inside the campaign and how it drives the performance. Yeah.
So did it make you lazier?
Actually, no, because you have to think.
When you're in Mothercare and it
No,
works by
actually,
itself.
I'm very busy. I every day come in and log in to see what's my ad revenue. But then you also, I think it doesn't make the marketer lazy because you have to think what is the A/B testing you want to do. Yeah, you have to strategize and you have to constantly optimize and see like which one is performing and then to shut down which campaign that you are doing for testing. Yeah.
I think if not, I think AI just makes everyone more busy, right? Because of the possibility and a lot more options. And because you can squeeze so much more within such a short period of time, and there's a lot of expectation. I mean, if you guys are on the brand side or even on the agency side, I think there's a lot of expectation for you guys to do a lot more testing. I don't think anyone's going to become more lazy. I think if anything, it's going to make you think a lot harder because I think to the panel's point here as well, I think there's a lot of conversions of new. I mean, there are probably a lot of new tools that are coming out every single day, and there's probably going to be some kind of conversions in maybe another 18, 24 months down the road. So meanwhile, we are kind of like the guinea pigs, like trying to experiment with all the different tools as well. I think with certain level of success and also familiarity, and also from a user experience perspective, I think anything that is able to help us understand the market better, understand the audience better, and perhaps even create certain type of creative or even messaging that is not within the siloed mind. So what I mean by that is, if you've been working with a particular industry or you've been working in this brand for a very long time, there's a tendency for you to kind of like fall into this trap of being quite complacent or being very, fixated in a certain style or conceptualization or mode of thinking. So I think AI, kind of like helps you to trigger and basically allows you to expand on some of the possibilities. So I mean, I run the agency business. I don't think it makes us any lazier. So if anything, like I said, we're becoming a lot more busier, and also because of the fact that we probably could take on more. I mean, maybe what used to take us half a day to do it, we probably could do it in half the time, and probably doing even better. So so it still remains to be seen. I think there's still a lot more iteration and testing that goes on. I'd love to hear some of your own experiences as well later on.
So it helped each of you, each of your directions and each of your focus, right, in your agencies and the brand. So where it helps the most? Is it the creative side, or is there the strategizing or analysis, or the optimization where it was from 10 years ago? It was already in there. Where it helped you the most?
I think being able to see both the creative execution and being in the middle, being in the media team, right? I can see that it helps both the media and the creative side. It saves the creative team a lot of time when you can just plug and play and get the sketches done for the storyboard and stuff. But there are things that are lacking. So in terms of very basic things like they will be able to give you that A/B testing. They can tell you, it's either 1-for-1 or going off at 50% off. This kind of things is very easily achievable with AI. But when it comes to emotional aspect of a creative, I don't think an AI has got this recollection of what we did when we were younger. So when you want to create that emotional correlation with your target audience, I think that's something that AI cannot do for now. Who knows, maybe in the next 5-10 years, right? But for media side, I think we've achieved a lot with AI, with Meta and with all the open AI that's available out there. Allows us to do a lot of testing. And we have seen results coming from Advantage Plus. From my side of things, we've seen results coming from Advantage Plus when we do broad targeting, right? We get more conversions with a lower CPA. But when it comes to really drilling down to individual targetings, like if I want to target new BTO owners, new home owners, looking at your canvas, looking at your property guru, we kind of restrict the campaign in a way where it's not able to do its best. And then, Advantage Plus really does the job by reaching out to the right audience and getting you that conversion, that CPA. So I think it's a win-win situation currently. Yeah.
Question again?
So the clickers are not the buyers, not necessarily.
The clickers are not necessarily the buyers, right?
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, this is for machine. It's quite easy to understand what kind of profile of Meta will do a certain action. But when it comes to the why of things, right? I think the thing is we need to put some thought behind. So actually, I have heard this feedback about those automated targeting quite often, that it works and the volume is there, but not necessarily the business benefit. How about you guys? Did you see their improvements or enhancements by AI in a particular area more than others, and creative or in media?
Maybe I'll just contribute another perspective. So, I mean, from an agency side of things, obviously, we have industries that we're familiar with. So you have a team of people who are really familiar with certain industries. So they also carry with them certain level of understanding of that particular industry itself. So it's probably quite fast for us to execute things. But once in a while, we'll probably be working with a brand new industry that we have no deep knowledge or deep understanding of. But we are still required to execute and get the results. So that's where there are certain tools out there in the form of AI that actually allows you to shortcut that learning process by, first of all, studying what these brand competitors are doing from an organic and also from a paid perspective as well. It gets you up to speed very, very quickly to help you analyze what are some of the strengths of some of the competitors and what are some of the shortcomings as well. So I think it gives you a very quick snapshot of understanding of what you need to prioritize in terms of the messaging, the creative, and the campaign execution as well. So I think this is the advantage that we are talking about. And then of course, the other thing with regards to, if you want to dive a lot more deeper as well, the tools that we use as well basically allows us to drive a lot more deeper understanding of how it's not a tool that we just use for our pitches. So right down from copywriting, right down to how we actually go about targeting the persona and even developing certain creatives as well. So there is an edge there. So I would say that definitely we are getting that leverage from the AI tool that we are using. So again, I would say that today it's how you have access to this is really dependent on how readily you're actually subscribing to different latest magazines or talking to the people in the know, right? But other than that, like attending something like that will also basically expose you to these little secret weapons, so to speak. And so yeah, I think that's something that has actually helped enhance our performance in that sense. Yeah.
So for me, I think actually being an in-house, right? So copywriting has become the responsibility of the marketer and less of the copywriter. But the strategy is still very important because, like for example, in Mothercare, right? So what promotion are you going to do? Are you going to do a promotion that is based on category, or are you going to do a promotion based on brand? And what is the performance after you decide to launch the different campaigns? Like for my experience, I discovered that category ads become better, and I would tell my boss, hey, I don't want to run brand ads. I want to run category ads, so that I can drive the ad revenue and performance. In terms of the copywriting and also like the brand message, I think having used like Somin.ai, right, you can actually feed the ChatGPT data from Somin.ai, for example, the message tension, like what is the key message you want to drive, and also the competitive performance. And from there, like using ChatGPT and Xueting.ai to derive a marketing plan or a campaign plan. So I think back to also like what Wanjun said, right?
You haven't paid for that, okay. So.
So it's also what you feed to the ChatGPT. You can't just like say, give me a marketing campaign. You have to put in effort to like, for me, I always greet the ChatGPT, good morning, good evening. And then I always say, imagine.
Get a different response.
Yeah. So I always say that imagine you are a brilliant copywriter, or like imagine you are a marketer, like an experienced marketer in this industry. And then what I learned from Alex is to tell them to not hallucinate. So, yeah.
Sometimes when I tell to my employees and I say, imagine you have 20 years of experience, it doesn't help. The result is still the same. No, but actually this is a real story. Just today I was reading a deck from one of our partners, and they were using ChatGPT for producing copies. And copies were not bad actually. But when I was looking at the prompt, it was very, very cute. So they were actually mentioning the names of very famous copywriters that they found in Wikipedia. And I say, okay, I want copy in this guy's style and in this guy's style and in a Louis style. And then the next part was even funnier. They say, and you need to imagine that you got 20 years of experience in copywriting at least. But then I think about it, oh well, it actually could make sense, because for AI it doesn't think the way as we think. And if you ask ChatGPT, write a copy as a junior copywriter, definitely will be able to produce a copy written as a junior copywriter. This one even I can do, even without ChatGPT, right? But then on the opposite side is as well, right? It's all about this attention, right? What it will be putting attention on when generating this response for you. So we are making fun of greeting ChatGPT in the morning. Maybe greeting it is a bit too much for me as a computer scientist. But generally speaking, it's actually very important what we prompt, and sometimes we feel like we are putting some unnecessary details, but those details are key. And the more data you put inside, right, the more precise it becomes, the more actually helpful the output is. So it's a very good helper, but yeah, maybe not a replacer yet. Okay.
I think on one point about ChatGPT, right, it's very good in generating the copies for you, but we do have to take note that ChatGPT grabs everything online and give it to you. If you're gonna do your website copy, this is a no-no for you to actually get it from ChatGPT, because it will actually not help your SEO at all. It's gonna downgrade your website score, and Google will think that you copy or you plagiarize this piece of content from somewhere else. So when there's duplicated content online, it actually depreciates your score for your website. So this is something to take note. Well, there's AI and there's human to then also change that piece of copy that AI has actually generated for you, right?
Yeah. So someone said that the content generated from ChatGPT can be described as content incest, because they all kind of like mash together, and collectively people are not using their brain to come up with new copies, and then all they do is just use more ChatGPT or any of those other prompts to generate content, and then what you get is a bunch of the rehash, but in a deformed and mutated form of format itself. Yeah.
I'm quite curious whether a Gemini generated website will rank higher than ChatGPT. For those who understand the joke. Yeah. Anyway, actually, my next question is to you, Wanjun. We're going to talk about the creative part of it, right? So those very famous ad before, everybody was criticizing, like Coca-Cola ad, video generated, and they say, oh, that's probably the worst Coke ad ever. And I personally sometimes see there's AI generated ads out there, just used as banners. The easiest way to understand it is look at the text and see whether it's straight fonts or some of them are distorted a little bit, right? So that's actually two parts of it. First of all, whether are we already in an era when we can generate creative, especially visuals based on AI? And the second one, how you personally feel about seeing AI creatives. and actually, if somebody have opinion in a whole, as a marketer or as a consumer, would be really happy to know as well. You just raise your hand.
I'm not too sure if you guys have come across this ad from Milo. So I think you guys are familiar with the brand Milo. I think they are the very first adopter when it comes to AI creative generation. So they put up a social ad out there with the AI generated content where I can see that the straw from the Milo, it's not even anywhere close to the mouth. So when you say whether...
else here when you don't drink it.
Yeah, so I mean, in this day and age, we do have to use AI, but I mean, we still need to be around as human to actually double check the work that comes from AI. And definitely not put out there anything that AI generates for you, just straight away put it onto your social media. I mean, maybe Milo can get away with that, like you, yeah. So, but smaller brands, a startup or an SME, you may be criticized a lot more when you put up an AI ad, something that looks something like that, right? So, human definitely needs to be around and add that human touch. Like I said earlier, the emotional aspect is something that AI won't be able to give it to you. And when you want to relate to your target audience, it's always talking about how a product can actually help them achieve, a better lifestyle or even better well-being, things like that. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much for the creative side. Yeah.
Brand side? How about brand side? And when you're working with creatives?
Creatives.
Yeah. Did you use AI generated ads for Mother Care?
No. Yeah, actually, we
Just a little bit weird looking baby stroller with only 2 wheels.
we actually plan the content without using like what you call the Mid Journey or those kind of like pictorial ChatGPTs and so on. But I have an experience where I actually use education to drive ad revenue conversions, and I think it really helped. And then for what I learned from Mother Care, right, is that we were actually running the same ad, the content. It's not really AI, but we are running the same ad for that lands on the Mother Care page, and the ad also runs and land on our distribution website, the distribution brand website called Not Too Big. And then the ad that ran inside the Mother Care website, that lands to the Mother Care website, actually generate a lot more sales revenue than the same ad that was in Not Too Big. So I think for me the biggest lesson learned is about brand equity. Like, what is the power of your brand? How are you going to leverage it, and so on.
A lot of very useful tips. Thanks so much for letting us know about that. Okay, if any baby brands running here, brand equity is very important. That's something Mother Care is quite famous for. Everybody knows Mother Care. Who don't know Mother Care? Anyone? No? Any perspective from the whole? Did you guys see AI ad and you don't like it, or you feel, oh, that's amazing, or you feel scary? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm actually a recent graduate from the Netherlands, and I studied creative business. And a big part of our schooling, university, was also working with AI, especially the last year. And we also do a lot of Photoshop and use all those kind of programs. And I think in my university now, they emphasize a lot on AI, but they want us to use it as like a step up, not as the finalized product. That's what I'd say.
Okay, Shei, how about you? Do you use AI in generating creatives? I have seen one at least.
Yeah, we do. So I mean, if we guys are using the Adobe Suite, we're using FreePix, Midjourney, a lot of these other different tools. I mean, we have a team of about 4 designers, So they're not supposed to use the final output as just verbatim taken from the AI, right? I think they as designer appreciate that there is a brief, there's a brand guideline, and there are boundaries that you cannot cross, depending on the kind of brand that you're working with, and you just have to start. You still need to activate your thinking head to make some adjustments and do some calibration. I think that's very important, essential. So you just can't blindly take wholesale whatever that's been generated. So there are instances where probably clients say, you know what, can I have a few more variations of these type of creative, these type of images? So I think what it helped us is in really expediting it. So you don't really have to wait like days or weeks before we have some internal chain of dissemination and project management and stuff like that. But we can generate it pretty quickly, and yeah, with quite a lot of variations is beyond even our own expectation. I think that's the beauty of it all, right? But someone still needs to kind of like manage it and then making sure that there's some kind of a refinement.
So used for ideation or for production as well?
Yeah. For everything.
So how is the process? You generate a load, everybody's standing near the virtual whiteboard and thinking, oh, which one is good, which one is...
Well, I like to say that there's a whole committee behind it, but the truth is it doesn't work that way, right? So a lot of times, the designer, after taking the brief, the final check is going to be done by the accounts person, and then obviously there's a senior design person that's also in the process as well. So we want to make sure there's a few layers of checks before some of the things pass through. These processes are still needed. AI doesn't negate the need for you to check your work, right? Those of you who work with agencies or brands yourself, you know firsthand that they're not perfect. So everything, we, in the name of giving us variation and giving us a lot of, probably even using as a brainstorm platform itself, there's a lot of things that we can actually do out of the AI tools. Yeah.
Okay, Shei, then I have a question to you. So if AI creative says it works better, you can produce it faster, and it's created not by humans, should we care?
No, we shouldn't care. Again, right, it depends on the brand that we are working with, and obviously us as an agency, a lot of the things have to go through different level of approval, and it's how we sell it to our clients. For us as a performance marketing agency, it's all about producing the result, generating the sales. If it's an e-commerce website, if it's a campaign for a institution, driving a lot more inquiries. If a particular creative is doing well, obviously in Singapore context, there's usually there's a shelf life to it. You can't perpetually rely on the campaign to run well for for a long period of time, especially in Singapore. So essentially, you really need to make sure that there is a lot of backup creative that you are developing to start testing using a very small amount of money and not rest on your laurels, basically. So yeah.
I think the word there is ad fatigue, right? You can't be running an ad that's...
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It kicks in pretty fast. Yeah. Especially if you guys are, if you're dealing with high budget, then the ad fatigue is it's crazy. Yeah.
I think it also depends on platforms, right? So a creative that can work on Facebook might not work on Instagram. Facebook is more informational, where Instagram and TikTok is more visual. I would say TikTok attention span is even lower. People usually scroll through videos like every 6 seconds. So your content has to be really interesting so that you can get hold of the attention of your target audience on TikTok. And for now, TikTok requires videos that has a lot of human elements included in it. Doesn't really work when you actually put up an animation there, unless your animation is really interesting. Yeah, so I doubt a lot of brands will have that kind of budget to create a very interesting animation. So so the human element has to be there for TikTok, and it might actually be the same for Instagram. Depends on what you do. If you do a reel, then it has to be very human. If you do a post, then that's something different. Yeah, so AI might work for Facebook, for Instagram as a post in the initial stage of your planning. But when it comes to TikTok, I think it's a whole new level and it's something that we're still trying to crack. Yeah.
I think building on to the topic of TikTok, right? I discovered that the target audience, when you leave it as broad, works better than if you create a customized audience in a TikTok campaign. I think the rationale why I learned is that like people don't just browse on one category. They actually go into TikTok to browse a lot of different things. Yeah, so like it became like when you select a targeted audience, you actually lose some audience that you actually could have targeted and increase the reach. Yeah, so that was an AI thing.
To that point, a few years back, TikTok. Is anyone from TikTok here? Raise your hand. No. Anyone from Facebook here? No. So a few years back, TikTok was actually hiring Facebook people like in a mass here in Singapore. And then those ex-Facebook TikTok people were calling me for, quite a long discussions on what is the best thing in Facebook I like and what the things in Facebook I hate, so they don't build that in TikTok. So a rule of the thumb here is if something works for your brand in Facebook, that's actually quite likely going to work on TikTok as well. But the disclaimers there will be if you are in the market that TikTok is already mature enough, because for the certain markets TikTok is very cheap and really not as advanced as some of the competitors. And in certain markets is really like a killer in terms of the tool and the channel you could explore. So if you haven't tried TikTok for performance advertising, do it tonight, but smartly. And I'm not from TikTok, it's just coming from personal experience. Some brands easily spend millions of dollars a month on it and get a lot of results from very different audience, not from the one that they were originally catching on Facebook. Anybody have experience with TikTok campaigns, particularly paid media? No? No? Oh, you got it.
I think on TikTok, right, it helps a lot if, let's say, you have your e-marketplace set up on TikTok. You don't have to get your target audience navigated out of TikTok itself, especially when they're already on TikTok, they don't want to be navigated out of it. So if you have a TikTok shop, that will help you a lot. So if you're an SME, you're a startup, you're selling something, make sure you have an e-marketplace set up. Yeah.
So AI-driven media buying promises efficiency. Efficiency, this is what you are carrying, right, in performance agencies. Do you carry efficiency? That's okay. That's half of the question. Okay, so it takes human part of it out of the media buying strategy, media planning, right? Broad targeting. Yeah. That's an example. The shooting's favorite one, right? So how? So how are you gonna deal with it? How are you gonna do the HR part of your agency? How are you gonna distribute the loads? You're gonna take more clients, so people start taking different roles. Are they thinking in different ways now? You say you're getting more busy. Why? Why are you getting more busy? If
say that.
You said that, and just 4 questions just before.
Well, we're more selective who we want to work with, right? So I mean that probably offers the luxury of doing a lot more testing, provided we have the right budget. So yeah, I mean that's one of the beauty of having an extra pair of hands to really kind of like do those heavy lifting work, and then you just checking your work. I mean, it's just like having another staff on your team, another assistant, another researcher. So yeah, it's how you leverage and how you manage the process around it. So yeah, we can be all very effective and not become lazy. I think allows you to focus on the more important tasks, the thinking part of it, the emotional side of things in terms of understanding the historical context of certain things, of a particular brand, of a particular audience, or the history behind how the campaign has been running over the last 12 months, or the last few years if you've been having the brand. So I think Yeah, so for me, we work with brands, like we've been around for 10 years, so there are brands who work with us for almost 10 years. So I think there's a lot of things that you just can't replicate just with the use of AI, just because we have people who have been around just as long in the team as well to understand the process. And one of the things that we do is to swap team members, just to really rejig the whole thinking process again, so that there's no silo thinking. Yeah, so that's one of those things that we're doing right now as well.
I think besides the capability of AI, right, it also relies on the marketing manager or the campaign owner, right, to experiment with features, which your AI cannot help you. Like for example, I've experienced that the ticker in the TikTok ad, actually drive conversion like crazy because people had a sense of urgency. But you have to be a campaign manager who knows that there's such a function. AI is not going to teach you, but then you can learn from YouTube. So yeah.
I don't think we can ever eliminate the human part when it comes to media strategizing and media planning, because like Shei Wah say, the historical data plays a huge part, and who's gonna analyze the historical data? That's you, that's me. Yeah, so, and on every website, every brand's website, the user experience is very different, and that determines how much per unit cost you're gonna pay, rather your CPC or CPM. So that's also one part whereby you need to study, I have a few clients under this industry, what's their average CPM? AI is not gonna do that for you. They will give you a generic CPM. If you plonk in this amount of budget, this amount of campaign period, and the objective, they'll just give you that forecast, right? But who's going to analyze the forecast and make it more real for your client? There's also the meta forecast that you can run, the LinkedIn, the forecasting tools that you can do on each of your social media platforms. Yeah, but so we also use SoMin as one of our platforms to analyze the persona that we should be looking at when we propose the target audience. So SoMin analyzes your brand and your competitors' social media, and from there they'll be able to tell you, this particular post is engaging this kind of persona, and from there, if you pick out these persona and put it into your campaign, potentially it's going to lower your CPM. So if you know all these data, then it really helps you. Yeah.
I think also to the point, I think what Wanjun just made, right, is that maybe your AI within the platform can help you to a certain extent, but then you need to, I don't think so far you can actually analyze cross-platform with results. So you still need the human eye to like, across platform, which one is performing, how am I going to optimize?
Especially with attribution issues, right?
Yes, correct.
You don't even know which platform really works for you unless you're really obsessed by it, which is very few companies out
correct.
there.
So you need to be the one who actually design your tracker and also track the performance so that you know like where you're going to invest your money next. Yeah.
So is it gonna replace the strategists and planners? They're gonna be replaced.
Very confident about it.
Why? Tell me.
There's always the customer relation side of things, right? So yes, I can get a forecast out of somewhere and then just put it into your media plan and sell it to you. But whether or not you buy my idea, I think it's a lot more on how I explain that strategy to you. Anyone can plan and anyone can strategize, but whether or not it comes down to whether your plan is what the client is really looking at, then that's a different story, right? I give you an integrated media planning to do. You have to propose an out-of-home for me with digital media included in it. Some may propose for you bus stop panels, and some may propose to you MRT ads, but why? So we then have to use AI to allow us to know where your consumers are actually consuming their media on a daily basis, and then we pick up from there. So if I sell you the idea, and you know that, oh, my target audience are actually more riding the MRT more and they are more exposed to the train, then that's where this valuable data actually come from. Yeah, so who puts that data together? That's me.
Actually, this isn't like a bit of a technical side, but we are building this platform, right, to analyze the communications. Later I'll show you a little bit, but what we found particularly very useful is that you could actually integrate with on-the-ground data. How many of you have heard about Nielsen? Guys, yeah, now you really have to raise your hand, right? Is it a marketing event? Okay, anyway, and there's others, like GWI, or there's one local, we call it Kampung Analytica, it's called Milio, maybe you heard about it. So what, yeah, I think it's a nice name. They should rename Kampung Analytics. So what it does, it actually tells you that what is the psychographics of the people on the ground. And that drastically affects the way you work with the content. And for example, you could choose a persona or and maybe some industry pinpoint, and you can make a very good story, and you could come up with some great content, but just not for the right country. Think about I like this example. Think about not renting, but buying a second-hand car. What buying a second-hand car is in Singapore and what buying a second-hand car is in Malaysia. There's so many companies that have both Malaysia and Singapore market. And who would be the persona and the behavioral habits of the people buying second car in Singapore versus in Malaysia or in Indonesia? In fact, those Singaporean car might be the second-hand cars in Indonesia and Malaysia, in fact, right? So, and then how can you have a globally the same or regionally the same marketing brief, the same strategy, same creative? You cannot. But companies do. Why is it do? Well, partially because they don't tap on those audience platforms. Is it what your experience is?
Yeah. So if you don't tap on this audience platform, you basically do not know the level of brand consumption that your target audience is having, and the kind of media exposure that your target audience is consuming. So yeah, I think that helps a lot when to differentiate your media plan and your strategy. So yeah.
So AI-driven performance marketing focus on immediate results. Does it come at the cost of long-term brand building? Xueting, does it?
Yes. Because, like, for example, I mean, going back to Mothercare, right? Because we are a retailer, and then we sell our things on e-commerce, right? So it really affects, because no matter what you do, right, the market is very competitive. Mummy's market is crazy over like discounts, like crazy free trade-in and whatever. Your ad is going to always perform for the lower cost and the discounts and everything. Then
when you say Mummy's market, you're talking about the market, or you're talking about the brand Mummy's market?
The brand Mummy's market.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you see like the amount of variations they do versus Mothercare, just like maybe one video, and then they have like walk-in, trade-ins, milk bottles, free mattress and whatnot, right? It really harms the brand equity. So even if, let's say, your boss tell you like, hey, I want to build the education arm, I want to build the brand equity, I want to be the authority figure, it actually makes it very difficult. Yeah, it really depends on your competitors, what they are doing. Yeah, because like you're going to spend extra dollars for the education program, and you're not going to milk any sales on it.
They're going to be louder than you. Maybe nobody noticed you in that case. How do you solve this dilemma, right? You could have a smaller budget, be very efficient and very independent as a brand, and have an equity, and you actually do, not just because of your local efforts, but globally you do, as a Mothercare.
Yeah.
But then everybody else is shouting about so many things, and honestly, if you're a first-time mom, you might want. There's mothers here in the panel. Yeah, but you might want to go for Mothercare, but then you're second time or third time Taobao, no?
Correct. I have a lot of people, like they actually believe in Mothercare. I did a dipstick research in the in the baby fair at Harbourfront. So I asked like 120 mothers on spot to do a survey to say that, okay, what do you like about mother care? Which competitors do you do like you have brand values? So like the low cost, the brand brand that I trust and everything. So mother care comes up with like being positioned as the brand they trust, brand they will recommend, but that doesn't convert into sales. Yeah, so that is a very when we ask them, okay, what is the best baby fair? They still say Mommy's Market. So like the last dollar, right? The time when they draw out their purse and pay for a product is still with Mommy's Market. So how do we use the brand to pull back the customer and tell them that, hey, you can come to the Harbourfront store. We have this baby nursery program, where we can educate you like what is the best cot bed to buy and whatever. But that within said, right, you still cannot guarantee the how to pull the shares away from a very tactical situation, especially now, right, when like the economy is not like the best and people think that cheap things I must cook, because a lot of first time mom when they buy for the first time, which is what mother care want to target, right, the first time mother, because they are going to spend a lot of money buying the stroller, buying the cot bed and whatever, right, they still end up with Mommy's Market. Once they step into the Mommy's Market fair, they are lost. They are like, oh, this one is cheap, that one is cheap and whatever, so they just, I'll buy everything now. So how do you beat that? And then you can see actually from now, from like the last 1 year, you can see that in mother care's social handles, right, it became a very sales driven, like all the percentage 90% off, so it's like and then in case you haven't been to the last baby fair, mother's care is already inside Mommy's Market. They are not going to have any baby fair with on their own. So like you can see that the business strategy and the retail space is actually super competitive. And then what I said just now about brand equity in TikTok, right, that I said perform better landing in mother care than not too big. That one is an internal success. But then when we compete with an external party, a competitor, the price discounts urgency, especially with the use of social commerce, like live streaming, educate the customer to be like, hey, you buy now, discount now. If you notice the live streaming in TikTok, it's always like, hey, 20% discount now. I give you a TikTok voucher, and then in Lazada and Shopee it's the same. Oh, voucher, daily voucher, oh, bank voucher, and then now you have shop back. So like, how do you beat all these and get profit from your sales? It become a very big brand issue.
All right. Okay. So it's all very, very, very offer driven in there, right? Especially there's a personalization enabled there. You have anything to say about that?
So we work with the Institute of Higher Learnings here in Singapore. So I think without saying too much, I think a lot of times the campaigns are very ad hoc. So like whenever there's a recruitment, and then the campaigns will be run. So obviously you can run campaign and drive a lot of recruitment and stuff like that, which is great. So driving performance, and if you're able to drive inquiries, signups, those are always great things, right? So does it dilute the brand? And how do you mitigate that? So one of the things that we always like to propose or include as part of the campaign itself is to have an always-on campaign that doesn't sell anything, doesn't do anything related to sales, but just purely educational content or anything that's going to help build the brand equity. It could be a blog, it could be a video that has got very high engagement about the brand. And it's worthwhile spending and investing that kind of money to build not just brand, but also you're building audience. And as you build the audience list, those are the lists that you could potentially retarget. And I mean, these are essentially the type of things that we can do as an agency, and you can consider as well for you guys as a brand. So it need not be one or the other, provided there's enough budget to actually run through something like that. And it's great for the long haul because you don't have to enter the market new with a certain limited set of budget, but you always have something that is always going to drive the performance because you already have the audience built up. And that is something that we see still missing in a lot of brands today, big and small, not just the small brands.
Keep the mic. So you got 40 people. You got 40 people in the company, right? 40 over people in your agency.
Yeah, but
So what are the skills you're going to train them for the future? It's evolving, right? So the industry is evolving. What is a new set of skills? You say you're repurposing people, right? Not the same in silos.
Yeah, I mean, in the age of AI, I think learning how to use prompt is important. That is the basic 101, right? So there are a lot of prompt courses out there that just basically, I mean, AI is also learning on its own, right? So the more you train, the better it becomes. And that's something that everyone needs to get used to. Because there are still many other tools out there, even with Somin as well. You still can actually input some of the outcomes into the prompt itself to produce more distilled results. That's going to benefit you, that's going to help you understand the market. So I think definitely one of the skill set is to learn how to use prompt, right? That's one. And I think there must be some kind of governance to make sure there's some kind of audit to make sure that, not whatever that's been churned out is just verbatim sent out, right? Without any thought or purpose or intention. So I think that level of quality control still needs to be there. I mean, in the context of AI, that's pretty much what I can say. Yeah.
I think one thing that I find that AI hasn't been able to solve is how to generate qualified leads through social media campaigns. You know, I don't know how many of you have run campaigns before, and then especially lead gen campaigns, and then if you go down to the funnel and then you track each sign up, and then they say, oh sorry, I accidentally pressed the button. I'm not interested in the ad. I just anyhow click. You know, yeah, these problems have not been solved despite for AI. Although like maybe AI can say, hey, I gave you more leads, but then now marketers are not looking at the quantity of leads. They want looking for qualified leads.
To build on that point on qualified leads, right? The simpler your form is, the less qualified your leads are. I think that's easy to understand, right? Because you spend lesser time to fill up a form, anybody can do that. So if you want more qualified leads and the person is really interested, they will really fill up the form. But then again, it's a dilemma. Whether or not you want to get the numbers in, you shorten your form and you get everything automated. You know, lead gen campaigns, if you have your name and phone number, email address, these things are automatically pulled into the fields. But when it comes to like other form of information, like for example the last 3 digits of your NRIC number, if they really are interested in giving you that information, I mean those are really quite qualified leads, right? Depending on, I'm not saying that you have to collect that data, I'm just saying that if you have things that you really need to know about your audience and your leads, put that in, and those might actually be better leads for you. So we are also running a campaign for a B2B client, and we noticed that a lot of inquiries that came through their brand keywords are typically not the qualified leads, mainly because there's a lot of complaints, there's a lot of generic inquiries that come through the brand keywords. So we always tell them, like, do you still want to run your brand keywords? Because this seems like it's not heading the right direction. Every time we get a query that comes through from your brand keywords, it's not qualified. And so it boils down to the brand, whether or not they want to report very nice numbers up to their management. Okay, so when that happens, of course you have to bid for your own brand keywords, right? So that will combat your competitor being on top of you, because the quality score of your ad will definitely be higher because of the keyword density. I'm not going to go into details, but your ad will show on top of your competitor if, let's say, they bid on your brand. Yeah, but in any case where your competitor is not buying into your brand, you have your SEO there to support you when looking at brand keywords, right? So it's a cheat code when we buy brand keywords for search. We always want that number to be reported back to our client so that it looks nice, but most of the time may not be qualified leads. Yeah.
In the next 5 years, what will be the big thing in AI, in marketing? Or overall, or in marketing?
To me, I think it's data analysis. So I think because of the bulk of the data that you can generate from the different platforms, and also like you now, like for example, like Insider.com and Netcore, they are able to generate like a lifetime value of the customer, so that you can target those customers that are more likely to spend money on your brand. So I think, and then all this AI platform, right, that is generated actually use a lot of data from your company previous sale to predict. So it's a bit like machine learning. So understanding like how data is being manipulated, or how to prepare data, how to visualize data, creating dashboard like using Google Analytics and all these, it will be very helpful to the marketer, because they can better attribute performance, and then also understand what is the brand health of their brand and so on. But then that said, right, when you use AI for coding and whatever, you cannot just rely on AI for coding. There will be mistakes and so on. So you need to actually learn how to check. You have to be the brain to check what the AI output is.
Xueting, don't tell me you also know how to code. How come?
I'm learning from Boston Consulting Group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they teach me how to use ChatGPT.
Yeah, for example,
code.
so okay.
Yeah. But then obviously my test for ChatGPT is not just like pumping the question into ChatGPT and get the answers. You have to check the code. Sometimes the code will have error messages. So like, you know, like, and then your visualization tool, how are you going to use a visualization tool to tell the story? Now like brands are actually thinking about churn rate, or like lifetime value and this kind of thing. You need to understand data to understand like how you're going to predict things and so on. A lot of forecasting will be done so that they can justify the input of budget into the campaign.
Shei, in the next 5 years, what you gonna bet on?
I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so next 5 years, I don't know what's going to happen. I think there's going to be a convergence of tools.
Tomorrow, there's going to be a
Tomorrow-
powerful announcement from Sam Altman. What's it going to be?
Maybe. I don't want to talk about 5 years later. You know, we live day by day. But I think there's going to be a lot more tools that's going to be coming out, and probably there's going to be a lot of hype surrounding it. I think the key thing here is to really test it out and just execute it and use it to your advantage, and invest in the tools. I believe there needs to be someone within the company who can evangelize the AI side of things. It's a luxury, but I think it's important to have someone to advocate that, to be able to adopt it and be able to test it very aggressively. And then on our end, like I said, we already have found like a set of tools that we are very comfortable with, that already has been producing results for us. Until we can see something new, or someone kind of like pitch to us, or if there's any other latest news coming out. I mean, like with DeepSeek and things like that, there's probably going to be some new changes that's happening maybe in the next, 6 to 12 months. But other than that, I think we're good for now.
I think we shouldn't forego AI, definitely, because it's going to improve. It always learns from our prompts and get better, right? So keep using AI, keep prompting, so that AI will learn to perfect whatever it's supposed to churn out for you. So maybe, who knows, in the next 5 years, AI just need 1 or 2 prompts to actually give you that perfect creative, right? Yeah.
Okay, the final challenge for you, like in blogger videos. In 1 sentence, in 10 seconds, sum up your marketing AI philosophy. Huh.
Only 1 sentence?
1 sentence, 10 seconds.
never give up. Keep using AI.
Test, learn, and be stingy.
Yeah, test AI, but watch it very closely. Yeah.
Thanks so much, guys.
Use it, but watch it closely. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
you.
So this was our panel today. I will take just maybe 5 minutes to show that software that that everybody was mentioning today. It's called Somin. It's about using AI for understanding the data, not generating the content. I think you probably have already understood that that's how we have gathered the speakers today. They were all using it at some point, and we were collaborating with them a lot. So let's thank them again, and let me just move to that chair and show you how the platform works. So the platform is called So Monitor. We call it this way because it really helps you to understand the content traits and monitor the competitor communication traits. You can actually put any brand in here, anything. You could put your competitor here easily. You could put any company that you're curious to know about. And what it does, it actually goes quite deeply into the content itself. So here we are looking at last 1 month of ride-hailing and taxi market here in Singapore. It looks for all the content, all the recent ones, and for every single piece, like for example this one from Comfort, it trying to understand what the topic is about. This is 3% off why right way should DBS basic, which chima is corresponding to, the content type, whether it's tactical awareness, which brands are mentioned inside there, which audiences is catered towards, and a bunch of other things. Usually marketers were doing it manually in a spreadsheet, like taking a picture of the content and putting those labels in spreadsheets, and they were doing it day and night until the browser will hang because no memory anymore. We thought that this is unfair, and we decided to use Gen AI in a little bit different way. Rather than using it to generate content straight away, we use it to analyze the data, and when you build it together with a traditional machine learning, you can even understand what is special in this banner in order to make this content work. And you do it for thousands of content pieces. This is very, very popular industry. So every single ad, let's say Tada is running, we actually know what is it about. And when you have all this information, you can start diving deep and start to do that real planner work and strategist work, trying to understand, for example, when it comes to audience of families, what does the taxi or ride-hailing industry can offer, or families with kids, for example. And then from there you can understand that, particularly in terms of products, they were mainly focused on free delivery and ride-hailing services. And when it comes to, let's say, different discounts or perks, there's one-on-one deals coming, and they were coming particularly from Grab. But surprisingly, Tada is really big as compared to, for example, Gojek is actually relatively smaller for these particular industries. Then what planners and strategists usually do when they have this data? They want to try to understand how do they produce new content based on this. So they start working with the personas or look for different value propositions and tensions. So we can also do so. We can cluster this content and understand what was a top, let's say, persona or value proposition happening there. So speaking technically, what's happening now is looking for all the content catered for these families category in the last 6 months, 6 weeks, and it's trying to understand what everybody was focused on. Because the moment you can find a blind spot there, you could tailor your strategy to fill it up and maybe win more audiences. So the beauty of Gen AI here is that it actually can pick up content on the fly and categorize it into many of those audiences and many of those categories that usually you are not working with. So for example here, different tensions. So distribution is financial insecurity and transportation challenges. That's what Tada is talking about. It's actually beating Grab quite a bit in terms of how many media it was spending. But let's say in terms of engagement, definitely Grab is much bigger than everyone else. And once you have these tensions and personas that you have identified, and you know which content is coming from, the right way to do it is to start building stories. And for stories, we can have a character, we can marry it with a particular marketing framework that we like to use, and different tensions that we have identified from the data. And from there, eventually, we could come up with different angles that we can take. Usually, we learn this maybe from the marketing books or from experience or from university. Here, you can just take a persona, take an angle, and then, let's say, use social capital theory and talk about limited community engagement opportunities. And then from there, you can also generate a story and generate your content eventually with an insight. So we believe in our company, we believe that marketing and future marketing is no longer about just who is running more campaigns or who is optimizing ads better. It's about creativity, it's about finding those angles that ultimately helping you to look different, to find those blind spots that competitors don't know about, and truly deliver the value. Because ultimately, those good marketers are those marketers that talking about value, but not just using some different urgency techniques. And just now we were discussing during the panel, right? We can put one discount, two discounts, many other discounts, and ultimately, when we have a compelling story and insight from the story, just like here, the real story of a person, of your potential customer, from there, you can brief and inspire your team to come up with a much better content. You can actually pass this to ChatGPT and let that generate much better and much more focused copies. Then eventually, you could pitch if you're an agency, or you can prepare your strategy if you're a brand in how much time I spent? 5 minutes? So for me, this is the future of marketing, and my marketing slogan would be, never stop learning. You must be very humble and pick up every single treatise out there. In that way, it will be undefeatable, and your brands will be able to benefit it from so, or your agencies, whatever. Thanks so much for coming. We, if you found it relevant in any chance, we actually have this platform available for everyone for free. You just can put your name in there, scan the QR code, and download it. It's supported by IMDA here in Singapore. You can use this platform with the government support. It's actually very useful. This form, as Wanjun suggested, is not a very short form. I think it's like 2 minutes takes to fill it up. Yeah. Otherwise, too many disqualified contacts. But yeah, so basically, what it gives you, you can save it. You can fill it up now. What it gives you is the platform access. You can play with it. You can set it up for your brands, and then you maybe can use it and become even our next speaker. Apart from that, thanks so much for joining. We're really happy that you come here, and we bought quite a bit of pizza for you and coffees there. So the event have finished, but
Is it? No, I think it's 2 o'clock.
the catch up and fellowship just began. So please go back and have a very good evening. Thank you.
Hey, the pizza? Did you tell them about the pizza? Did you go there about the pizza?
Yeah, I told everyone there's a pizza behind. Yes, go there and eat. Make sure everything is finished.